Quiet Place Part 2. I went to go see this tonight. It officially opens tomorrow, May 28th. Yeah, it's still today. It's not tomorrow yet. It officially opens tomorrow, May 28th. They had an advance screening at my local theater. It was just like a day in advance, right? They do that for a lot of movies. But I decided to go check it out. I remember the huge chatter about the first Quiet Place, and it's got really high reviews, and I did not see that one on the big screen. I kind of wished I had, but I didn't. I eventually watched it later on the small screen. And the thing that I found about that movie is I enjoyed it. I liked it okay, but I wasn't wowed by it like so many people seem to be. In fact, there were things that happened, like there was that thing that happened in the very beginning that just immediately made me really annoyed with the characters in general, like what happened to their son. The world that they're living in is terribly cautious as they have to be, as aware of the danger as they very clearly seem to be, that they would be walking along leaving their child behind them. That was just like, it got started. And plus the little girl giving the toy to the child, even though she knew she shouldn't do it. These little things just aggravated me. But I don't think that's why I wasn't wowed by the movie. Now, the performances of everybody involved in the first movie and in the second movie are really good. Everybody does a good job. John Krasinski is in here in a little bit. Well, not in a little bit, but for a little bit. He's in here at the very beginning of the movie. It's basically showing day one, which you knew that was going to happen at some point from the trailers. But that's how it starts off, day one, which I really enjoyed because I remember something that I liked about Fear the Walking Dead. In The Walking Dead, you're just kind of thrown into it. It's happened. The character kind of has to navigate his world. In Fear the Walking Dead, it hasn't happened yet, and you start to see the slow breakdown of society as events unfold. And so that's what I appreciated about this second movie. One of the things I appreciated about the second movie was we got a little taste of what had happened in the beginning. And of course, John Krasinski's character returns for that scene. You know, we know what ultimately happens to him at the end of the first movie. And he is at the helm directing once again. I heard Chris Stuckman say that he had shared the writing credits with somebody else in the first movie, but in this one, he does all the writing himself. As far as the writing, it was decent. The movie was good. John Krasinski, I think, is a very talented director. I think the way he puts the story together, the way he shapes the narrative, and how we saw the editing, we would see scenes happening in another location and scenes happening in another location, and he put them together. So you would jump from this person to this person, and sometimes it was very quick. Like you would go for a few moments here and then a few moments over here, and just seeing as events are unfolding for each of the characters in the different scenes. I thought that was done very well. There are, as in the first movie, there are moments of high tension because of the situation that the characters are in. My daughter used the words, she created a new word, tenseful. I feel like I need to adopt that word for my channel because it's perfect. There were many tenseful moments in this movie. And overall, I was left with a feeling of satisfaction, but at the same time, there's this weird thing with me in this movie where I liked it. I don't feel like it was a waste of my time, but I'm not blown away by it, you guys. I just wasn't. And it's so, and I can't put my finger on why. I don't know why. It's not because of the irritation I had with the characters at the beginning of the first movie. I still held on to a little irritation with the daughter. She gets under my skin sometimes because I felt like her anger at the character that Cillian Murphy plays was a little misplaced. She was like, at one point she's saying something to him like, you're nothing like him, like you're nothing like my father. Well, no, he's not your father. Why are you trying to compare these two men? They're completely different people. And it just felt like that lashing out that she had was kind of silly. I know she's a kid, but still, that was like annoying. But then there was also another part that Emily Blunt's character is in that kind of got under my skin too. And it was where she was asking, this is a little bit of spoilerish territory, but not major. She was asking Cillian Murphy to do something for her with the high expectation that he should just do it. They had been friends before all this happened. They knew each other. They weren't strangers. But it's just not long after they come together in the movie, she's putting this expectation on him that he should just do so-and-so. And I was like, well, boy, that happened really fast that she put this on him as if he should just do it just because. I don't know. I feel like it unfolded, things like that unfolded a little bit too quickly. And honestly, I don't know. It just kind of aggravated me a little. But it's weird because as much as I think everybody in here did a great job on the acting, and the story was good, and it was very tenseful in parts, and it had a pretty satisfying ending. Like I said, I'm just not, like I was looking at some reviews that people had left for it, like a Chris Stuckman review, and there were other reviews that I had read, and people were just like, oh, this is the greatest horror sequel, or this is, and I'm like, well, I'm feeling like, it's good, I liked it, but it just doesn't blow me away. Like, I liked Halloween 2018 much more than I like A Quiet Place. And I don't know if that's just because I'm into that franchise more. I don't know what it is, you guys. Honestly, it's the weirdest thing. And I've been mulling this over in my brain ever since I saw it. How am I going to express this strange conflict that I feel about the film, liking it and yet not being blown away by it? Maybe I'm just making a bigger deal out of it than it really is. But I think if you are a fan of the first movie, like if you really, really like the first movie, or even if you just casually like the first movie like me, I think you'll enjoy the sequel. One complaint I had, or another complaint I had about this movie, and I don't really have a ton of complaints. I think mostly I'm feeling annoyed that I don't like it as much as it seems like everybody else does. Like I'm feeling like, what am I missing? And because I can't really put it into adequate words or figure it out clearly. It's really weird. Like I said, directing is good, acting is good. The cinematography in here was really good. The score was good, but it just doesn't knock my socks off, people. It just doesn't. But it's not a waste of time. If you like horror movies, if you liked A Quiet Place, you'll like this. I really think you will, and I hope it does well this weekend. I quickly bought tickets for this because I saw that it was many seats were starting to sell, and our theater still has limited capacity. Not as much as before. It used to be when you would buy a seat, they would block off 2 on each side. Now it's just 1. So there were quite a few more people in the theater tonight than there typically have been before. So that was good to see. And I heard several people talking about, going to see it, around about me in the theater before and afterwards. So I know that it probably did very well tonight anyway. And I expect that it will probably do pretty well this weekend, this entire weekend. There was something else I was going to say. One of the complaints that I had about this film is though I was generally satisfied with how everything kind of wrapped up, at the same time, it felt to me like the ending was just quite abrupt. And when the credits came up, I was thinking, oh, that's it? Okay. And then I started to think to myself, well, I wonder if there's going to be a sequel. So I went online, I was doing some searches, and saw that a sequel has not been officially greenlit yet. No announcement has been made. I think the studio is probably going to hold off and see how the movie does this weekend. I expect the movie will probably do pretty good this weekend, and I think there will probably be a sequel. And I'm wondering, how many does he have planned? How many additional movies was Krasinski planning for when he set out to do this? Now, I kind of feel like a trilogy would be the perfect way to wrap things up. And I'll be very surprised if there's not a sequel to this, honestly. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself and say there will be, but it just feels like there's got to be something more. Things were resolved in this movie, but at the same time, if it ends here, it's not very fulfilling. Not to me anyway, it's not. And I expect it will probably feel that way to a lot of people if there's nothing else that's done, because it just seems to me like there has to be something more that we see. And I guess I'll know that it's been done well whenever I see the next movie, if the next movie comes out. I can't see this going much beyond a 3-film series, but who knows? We don't know where the writing will take us in the next one, if there's going to be a next one. I feel like I keep needing to add that caveat, but honestly, you guys, it really needs another one. It doesn't end on a cliffhanger. Like I said, things are resolved, but still, it was just too abrupt, the ending. It was too abrupt for me to think that there are not very solid plans in place for continuation. I guess we'll see. Anyway, that's my thoughts on A Quiet Place Part 2. I think I've just sort of vomited out everything that was rolling around in my brain, and I hope I've made a bit of sense. But if you guys have seen it, let me know what you thought about it. Did you watch it on the big screen? I don't know if this is going to be available digitally. I haven't heard about that yet. But are you planning to see it on the big screen or not? And if you saw it on the big screen, did you enjoy it? What do you think about the series as a whole? I don't know. I just feel like I'm kind of the odd man out with this one. Oh well. It's okay. All right. I can't think of anything else, and I feel like maybe I want to do something else before I wrap things up for the evening, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits on this one, you guys. Hasta luego.